Welcome to Restless Killers and Mysteries with Roger Heilig. I'm your host, Roger Heilig, and today we have quite the road trip for you. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Beyond the Grassy Knoll: How JFK's Death Changed American Society Forever by A.M. Wolfe. Available now on Amazon and Audible. Trust me, it's a ride you won't want to miss. Now buckle up, because today we're stepping into the roaring world of motorsports. We'll be talking about some larger-than-life figures who have not just dominated the Nascar circuit, but have become legends in their own right. Ever wondered who Dale Earnhardt Sr. was and why they called him the Intimidator? Or what it was like for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to carry the weight of that legacy on his shoulders? And what about Jeff Gordon, the young hotshot who shook things up and brought a fresh wave of fans into the mix? We won't stop there. There's Richard Petty, the man they call the King, and for good reason. With those trademark shades and that cowboy hat, he's got a record that still stands tall. And then, there's Jimmy Johnson, the modern master of the track, who has proven that there's nothing to fear about living in the shadow of giants. It's all about making your own mark. Whether you're a motorsport novice or a seasoned fan, today's episode will take you through their breathtaking careers in a way that's easy to follow. Think of it as NASCAR 101, but with plenty of pit stops for some juicy trivia and legendary tales. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the high-speed universe of these motorsport icons. By the end of this episode, you'll not only know why these names are etched in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, but also why their legacies are crucial to understanding the sport's past and future. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines and let's hit the gas. Alright folks, let's rev up those engines and peel the layers back on one of NASCAR's most iconic figures, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Buckle up, because this man wasn't called the Intimidator for nothing. Dale Earnhardt Sr. didn't just participate in races, he dominated them with a style that was as ruthless as it was captivating. Born to a racing family in 1951 in Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt Sr. seemed destined for the racetrack. His father, Ralph Earnhardt, was a successful short track driver, so you could say racing was in Dale's DNA from the get-go. When Dale Earnhardt Sr. entered the NASCAR scene in 1975, he quickly made waves. Winning the Rookie of the Year title in 1979 was just the first hint of his impending legacy. But it wasn't just about the titles and accolades. Oh no. Dale Earnhardt Sr. had a racing style that set him apart: aggressive, instinctive, and let's be honest, a bit terrifying to his competitors. He was a force of nature on the track, often compared to a charging bull. Imagine the adrenaline rush, folks. His nickname, the Intimidator, couldn't be more fitting. Dale's strategy was simple but effective: wear down his competitors mentally while outmaneuvering them physically. He became infamous for his bump and run technique, where he would nudge the rear bumper of the car ahead just enough to make them lose control, allowing him to overtake them. Maybe not the most courteous move, but that's racing for you. It's all about winning. Let's talk numbers. Earnhardt Sr. earned a whopping 7 Winston Cup championships, tying with Richard Petty. With 76 wins and 428 top 10 finishes over his career, he was no part-timer but a stalwart legend. His camaraderie with car number 3 and that iconic black paint scheme are forever etched into NASCAR lore. Fans would flock into stadiums just to catch a glimpse of that number 3 car roaring by, its presence invoking both awe and fear. Dale had a far-reaching influence on NASCAR, not just in terms of spectacular victories, but also in his contributions to the sport's popularity. Before the advent of social media, Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a walking, talking viral phenomenon. His persona transcended the racetrack and touched the lives of countless fans. Whether he was fiercely competing or humorously engaging with fans, Dale knew how to draw a crowd and keep them hooked. His legacy still resonates today, profoundly affecting both NASCAR veterans and up-and-coming drivers. Sadly, Earnhardt's life and career were tragically cut short in 2001 during the Daytona 500. His passing was a gut-wrenching moment for the sport, but it brought forth significant changes in NASCAR's approach to driver safety. His death ultimately pushed NASCAR to improve its safety protocols, introducing the hands device and safer barriers, changes that have undoubtedly saved lives. Yet Dale Sr.'s legacy can't be confined solely to his passing. His influence permeated through his immediate family, most notably through his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr., but we'll get to that later. His philanthropic efforts, particularly through his foundation, have continued to impact communities all over. In essence, Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't just a race car driver. He was a complex character in the grand narrative of motorsport. The Intimidator continues to inspire fervor among fans and a sense of aspiration among drivers. His life serves as a vivid reminder that greatness often comes with a fierce spirit and an unyielding resolve to be the best. Stay tuned, because our deep dive into racing royalty is just getting started. Next, we'll explore how Dale Jr. carried his father's torch and carved out his own legacy in the thrilling world of NASCAR. Yet Dale Sr.'s legacy can't be confined solely to his passing. His influence permeated through his immediate family, most notably through his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr., but we'll get to that later. His philanthropic efforts, particularly through his foundation, have continued to impact communities all over. In essence, Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't just a race car driver. He was a complex character in the grand narrative of motorsport. The Intimidator continues to inspire fervor among fans and a sense of aspiration among drivers. His life serves as a vivid reminder that greatness often comes with a fierce spirit and an unyielding resolve to be the best. Stay tuned, because our deep dive into racing royalty is just getting started. Next, we'll explore how Dale Jr. carried his father's torch and carved out his own legacy in the thrilling world of NASCAR. Let's shift gears and talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr., a name that carries a lot of weight in the world of motorsports. When your dad is famed NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Sr., known universally as the Intimidator, you've got a hefty legacy to uphold. And it's safe to say, Jr. didn't just follow in his father's footsteps. He blazed his own unique trail. Dale Earnhardt Jr., affectionately called Jr. by the fans, started his NASCAR career with a ton of horsepower but also a mountain of expectations. From the moment he stepped onto the track, everyone had their eyes on him, wondering if he could ever match up to his father's monumental achievements. When Dale Jr. started racing full-time in the NASCAR Busch Series, now known as the Xfinity Series, he quickly made a name for himself, clinching back-to-back championships in 1998 and 1999. This was his way of saying, "Hey, I'm not just my father's son, I'm a force to be reckoned with." Now, about that pressure. Imagine every time you put on your helmet, you're not just battling other drivers, but also the shadow of a legend. Yet Dale Jr. handled it with grace and grit. Even after the tragic loss of his dad in the 2001 Daytona 500, he returned to the same track just months later and won the Pepsi 400 in what was an emotional and heavily symbolic victory. Jr. wasn't just a chip off the old block. He became NASCAR's Pied Piper due to his immense popularity with fans. He won the NASCAR Most Popular Driver Award, a record 15 times in a row, no less. Fans adored him, not just for his skills on the track, but for his authenticity, approachability, and genuine love for the sport. From a competitive standpoint, Dale Jr. amassed 26 NASCAR Cup Series wins, including 2 victories at the Daytona 500, which many consider the Super Bowl of NASCAR. Though he never secured a Cup Series championship, his consistent performance and resilience in a sport known for its unpredictability earned him immense respect. Beyond the track, Dale Jr. expanded his influence. He founded Junior Motorsports, a highly successful racing team that competes in the Xfinity Series. This wasn't just a pet project. Junior Motorsports has powered numerous drivers to victories and championships, further cementing Dale Jr.'s legacy as a mentor and leader in the racing world. And let's not overlook his impact off the track. A savvy businessman and media personality, he's dabbled in everything from podcasting with his popular Dale Jr. Download to being a much-loved analyst for NBC Sports. His candid and insightful commentary offers fans a genuine peek behind the curtain of NASCAR racing. In terms of philanthropy, Dale Jr.'s work is also notable. He's deeply involved with the Dale Jr. Foundation, which supports numerous causes, from education to healthcare and animal welfare. Through this, he's shown that his sense of responsibility transcends racing, making a tangible difference in communities across America. So why does Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s legacy matter? It's not just about the wins or the accolades. It's the way he transformed enormous pressure into a celebrated career, the way he connected with fans on a deeper level, and the way he's continually contributed to the sport through mentoring, media presence, and philanthropy. Anyone with even a passing interest in NASCAR will hear Dale Jr.'s story and realize that he's not just another racer in a famous family. He's a vibrant part of NASCAR's heart and soul. Let's talk about the man they call the Rainbow Warrior, Jeff Gordon. Now, Jeff's entry into NASCAR wasn't just another rookie finding his footing. Oh no, it was more like a young prodigy setting the stage for a revolution. Picture this, it's the early 90s. NASCAR is dominated by seasoned veterans and muscle car aesthetics. And here comes this fresh-faced kid with a whole new approach to racing. Jeff Gordon first shook the NASCAR world when he debuted at the 1992 Hooters 500 in Atlanta, a race that was iconic in its own right because it was Richard Petty's final race. But instead of blending into the background, Gordon's presence was unmistakable. He was driving for Hendrick Motorsports, one of the top teams, and from the get-go, it was clear this Californian had the right mix of talent and tenacity. What set Gordon apart, you ask? It wasn't just the bright, almost flamboyant, rainbow-colored car that earned him the nickname Rainbow Warrior. It was his innovative style and calculated risks on the track. You see, Gordon didn't drive like a traditional stock car racer. He brought a finesse and precision that you'd more likely see in open-wheel racing. His ability to maneuver through tight gaps and make those high-speed overtakes was simply mesmerizing. One of the most talked about aspects of Gordon's career was his rivalry with Dale Earnhardt Sr. Imagine two titans of the sport, with completely different styles and backgrounds going head-to-head. On one side you had Earnhardt, the seasoned intimidator with a somewhat rugged approach to racing. On the other, you had Gordon, the audacious young talent who relied more on strategy and speed. Their on-track battles were the stuff of legends and brought a new level of excitement to the sport. Jeff's peak years weren't just good, they were phenomenal. Between 1995 and 2001, Gordon clinched 4 NASCAR Cup Series championships. His meteoric rise wasn't just built on raw speed, it was his smart, tactical driving that set the benchmark. Fans watched in awe as Gordon racked up 93 career wins, placing him third on the all-time win list. But dominance on the track wasn't the only story here. Jeff Gordon's flashy performances and approachable personality attracted a wave of new fans to NASCAR. He didn't fit the stereotypical mold of a NASCAR driver, and that's precisely why he appealed to a broader audience, pulling in folks who previously never gave hot rods and stock cars a second glance. He was marketable, charismatic, and media-savvy, bridging the gap between hardcore racing fans and mainstream America. Yet, it's not just the fans that were affected by Gordon's presence. Sponsors and advertisers flocked to him, seeing his potential to elevate their brands on a national stage. With this influx of sponsorship, NASCAR itself started to gain more mainstream recognition and financial stability. This shift opened doors for even more technological advances, making the sport safer, more competitive, and more accessible. One can't talk about Jeff Gordon without mentioning his rivalry with Dale Earnhardt Sr. Imagine the intensity of two contrasting styles clashing on the same track. Earnhardt represented the old guard, gritty, aggressive, with a no-nonsense attitude, while Gordon epitomized the new era with his sleek driving style and polished public persona. Their rivalry wasn't just confined to the track, it evolved into a cultural phenomenon, embodying the tension between tradition and innovation. On top of all his achievements, Gordon has had one of the most recognizable faces in NASCAR, thanks in part to his appearances on everything from Saturday Night Live to mainstream talk shows. He became a household name, rather than just a racing icon. In terms of championships and overall influence, Gordon has nothing left to prove. He retired from full-time racing in 2016. But his legacy? It's very much alive. He now works as a commentator for Fox Sports, bringing his in-depth knowledge and infectious enthusiasm to millions of viewers. His impact on the sport extends beyond trophies and victories. It's in how he helped shape NASCAR into the multifaceted, widely appealing entity it is today. So, when talking about Jeff Gordon, we aren't just talking about a driver who won races and championships. We're talking about a transformational figure in motorsports. A man who, through sheer skill and charm, managed to bridge eras, ignite rivalries, and attract legions of new fans. The Rainbow Warrior, indeed, painted the sport with a broader brush, leaving an indelible mark on NASCAR's canvas. On top of all his achievements, Gordon has had one of the most recognizable faces in NASCAR, thanks in part to his appearances on everything from Saturday Night Live to mainstream talk shows. He became a household name, rather than just a racing icon. In terms of championships and overall influence, Gordon has nothing left to prove. He retired from full-time racing in 2016. But his legacy? It's very much alive. He now works as a commentator for Fox Sports, bringing his in-depth knowledge and infectious enthusiasm to millions of viewers. His impact on the sport extends beyond trophies and victories. It's in how he helped shape NASCAR into the multifaceted, widely appealing entity it is today. So, when talking about Jeff Gordon, we aren't just talking about a driver who won races and championships. We're talking about a transformational figure in motorsports. A man who, through sheer skill and charm, managed to bridge eras, ignite rivalries, and attract legions of new fans. The Rainbow Warrior, indeed, painted the sport with a broader brush, leaving an indelible mark on NASCAR's canvas. Let's talk about Richard Petty, fondly known as the King, and for good reason. Petty's career is nothing short of legendary, with achievements that have left an indelible mark on the sport of NASCAR. He holds an incredible record, boasting 200 career wins and 7 NASCAR Cup Series championships. These numbers alone explain why he's regarded as one of the greatest, but there's so much more to his story. Richard Petty was born into racing. His father, Lee Petty, was a NASCAR driver himself and a 3-time series champion. Racing was in Richard's blood, and he took to the track like a fish to water. He made his debut in 1958, but it wasn't until 1960 that he clinched his first win. This victory was just a taste of what was to come. Petty's driving style was a perfect blend of skill and fearlessness. He had an uncanny ability to control his car at high speeds, often pushing the boundaries to secure wins. But what set him apart wasn't just his driving. Petty was known for his sportsmanship and the respect he commanded both on and off the track. He earned his nickname the King not just by winning races, but by embodying the spirit of a champion. Now, you might be wondering, how does one man come to dominate a sport to such an extent? Well, Petty's success can be attributed to a combination of his driving talent, his team's mechanical expertise, and his ability to adapt to an ever-changing sport. NASCAR in the 60s and 70s was rapidly evolving, with cars becoming faster and more powerful. Petty and his team were always at the cutting edge, consistently innovating and improving their performance. One of his most famous cars was the 1970 Plymouth Superbird, an aerodynamic beast designed to dominate the superspeedways. It became synonymous with Petty, and many fans would recognize the bright blue number 43 car flying past the checkered flag. This car was a crucial part of his 1970 season, where he secured 18 wins. Incredible, right? But being the king was about more than just driving. Petty played a significant role in popularizing NASCAR, helping the sport transcend its regional roots to gain national prominence. His charisma and accessibility made him a fan favorite. Petty would often stay at the track long after races had ended, signing autographs and chatting with fans. His iconic cowboy hat, sunglasses, and folksy demeanor made him instantly recognizable and beloved by millions. As his career progressed, Petty's influence grew beyond just winning races. He became an ambassador for the sport, working tirelessly to promote NASCAR and ensure its growth. In many ways, Richard Petty was responsible for NASCAR's rise in popularity during the 1970s and 80s. He understood the importance of the fans and always made sure to engage with them, creating a loyal following that has lasted for generations. Petty's last win came in 1984, marking the end of an era. However, his impact on the sport carried on well beyond his last trip to victory lane. Even after retiring from driving in 1992, Petty remained a key figure in NASCAR, transitioning to team ownership. He continued to be a guiding force, nurturing new talent and contributing to the sport's growth. Throughout his life, Petty has accrued numerous accolades and honors, including his induction into the inaugural class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010. His 200 wins remain a record that many believe will never be broken, standing as a testament to his prowess and dedication. Beyond the trophies and titles, Richard Petty's legacy lies in his influence on the sport and its culture. His name is synonymous with NASCAR, and his contributions have paved the way for future generations of drivers. Petty not only set the standard for excellence, but also showed how a champion should carry himself, with humility, generosity, and an unwavering commitment to the fans. In summary, Richard Petty wasn't just a race car driver. He was, and remains, a symbol of the sport. His career, filled with unparalleled achievements and a genuine love for racing, has left an indelible mark on NASCAR. Petty's story is a testament to what dedication, talent, and a little bit of Southern charm can achieve. Jimmie Johnson is, without a doubt, one of the most transformative figures in modern motorsport. Now, you might be wondering, how did he start? And how did he rack up those jaw-dropping 7 championships? Jimmie's journey began like many American motorsport legends, on the dusty trails of off-road racing in California. As a teenager, he showcased raw talent, dominating motocross, and later, off-road truck racing. His exploits on these terrains set the stage for a more illustrious career. But it wasn't all glory and glam right away. In 1998, Jimmie took a significant step and joined the American Speed Association, where he earned Rookie of the Year honors. Then came his big break, a partnership with none other than Hendrick Motorsports and a sponsorship deal with Lowe's. This leap saw him entering the world of NASCAR, where he would cement his legacy. In the 2000s, Jimmie's presence brought unprecedented attention to NASCAR. His winning streaks made headlines, bringing new fans from diverse backgrounds to the track. Unlike the more traditional, rugged image of past drivers, Jimmie presented a modern, accessible personality. His interviews were filled with wit and charm, making him a media darling, the face of NASCAR's modern era. But his story doesn't end on the oval tracks of NASCAR. Jimmie Johnson is a living testament to versatility in motorsport. In 2020, he bid farewell to full-time NASCAR racing. Yet retirement from one form of racing didn't mean he was done challenging speed and skill boundaries. Jimmie transitioned into IndyCar, tackling the complexities of open-wheel racing. While he faced a learning curve and new set of challenges, his journey into IndyCar added another layer to his rich legacy. Moreover, Jimmie's impact extends off the track. He has been deeply involved in philanthropic efforts, launching the Jimmie Johnson Foundation, which supports various causes from education to disaster relief. His contributions to society mirror the spirit of compassion and dedication he showed in his racing career. So why is Jimmie Johnson's legacy so important? It's not just his 7 championships, which in themselves are remarkable. It's about his adaptability, his relentless pursuit of excellence, and his ability to transcend what many thought was possible in one career. He's shown that racing isn't just about speed. It's about the relentless drive, the willingness to transform and grow, and making an impact that goes beyond the confines of a racetrack. In essence, Jimmie Johnson is the modern master of motorsport, demonstrating that legacies aren't merely born from victories but are forged through versatility, innovation, and an unwavering spirit. And there you have it, folks. Whether it's the fearless grit of Dale Earnhardt Sr., known to intimidate competitors just by his presence, the legacy carrier, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who in his own right became a beloved figure in NASCAR, Jeff Gordon, the Rainbow Warrior who revolutionized the sport and drew a fresh new fanbase, Richard Petty, the King himself, whose record-breaking career set the bar sky high, or Jimmy Johnson, the modern master who dominated the 2000s with his extraordinary versatility and prowess. Each of these legends has left an indelible mark on motorsport history. Their stories are more than just tales of fast cars and checkered flags. They're narratives of passion, evolution, and the enduring spirit of competition. These icons didn't just drive, they shifted gears in the world of racing, each in their own unique way, paving the road for future generations. Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in to this episode of Restless Killers and Mysteries with Roger Heilig. Your support and curiosity make telling these incredible stories worthwhile. A special thanks to our sponsor, Beyond the Grassy Knoll, How JFK's Death Changed American Society Forever by A.M. Wolfe. Be sure to check it out on Amazon and Audible for a riveting read that dives deep into a pivotal moment in American history. Stay curious and keep those engines revving, because in our next episode, we're shifting gears quite literally as we delve into the mystifying case of the Blue Mist Road urban legend. Is it truly haunted? Who are the figures said to roam its foggy expanses? Buckle up, it's going to be a thrilling ride. Till then, keep the pedal to the metal and your mind open to new mysteries. This is Roger Heilig, signing off.